Welcome everyone to Hatha Active Yoga. What does that mean? It's basically a gentle class, but I give you options in terms of how deep you can go into some of the poses. So if you haven't been doing yoga for a while, you may want to take the easy option. If you've been continuing to practice in your home, maybe you can go a little further, go a little deeper. My name is Lori. And we're going to start standing, just so that those of you who maybe need to gather some props can go grab those real quick. You can use a block if you have it, or a bolster. If you don't have those, maybe grab a pillow off the couch. A blanket can also be used, maybe folded up for a little bit of height, but we'll be on our knees for a little bit. So depending on the surface that you're on, you might need some of those things. And if you don't have a wall really handy, maybe you'll grab a chair that you can use for some of the balancing poses. All right. So as you, if anybody needs to go get your props right away, go ahead and do that. We're just going to start with a little breathing, a little welcoming hug, a virtual hug. We're going to take a nice deep inhale and bring the arms up, saying that we are so happy to be here in this class. And then we're going to wrap our arms around us and give ourselves a nice little hug. We missed that. Not being able to make that kind of contact in this particular point in time. Inhale, arms up. I am so thankful that you are all here and with me in this class. And let's do a nice big hug. And one last time, inhaling, arms up, being thankful that Anna has taken the effort to provide these classes to you online. And another nice big hug. Okay, hopefully everybody's back from collecting their props. Let's go ahead and have a seat. So we're going to come to a comfortable seated position. Typically that's cross-legged or Sukhasana. You definitely have some options. First of all, if you've got your blanket, your cushion, and you want to elevate the hips, that can help the knees to go towards the floor, help put the hips in a little bit different position. It's more friendly. If that's just not comfortable for you, you might try taking an omega pose with the feet extended, or a long diamond pose, again with the feet extended. If you're extending the feet, you'll want to elevate the hips, because this is going to help you keep the spine lifted. So take the position that you feel most comfortable in, and we'll begin to do a little centering, a little breathing. It's especially important during this time that we practice our deep breathing. It's going to help oxygenate your body. It's also going to give you a little stress release. So let's go ahead and put our left hand on our heart and our right hand on our diaphragm right there near the belly. We're doing this so that we can make sure that we're breathing down into the diaphragm and not into the chest. So you're going to close your eyes. Sit up nice and tall, and lengthening the spine, keeping the shoulders pressed back. And take a deep inhale, following it as it enters your nose, goes over the back of your throat, and down deep into your body, expanding the hand that's on your diaphragm. And then exhale, nice and long and slow. Inhale, pressing that hand that's on your tummy out, filling the lungs all the way up to the collarbone. And exhale. And one more. Inhale deeply, slowly. Exhale. We're going to add to that breath something called havening. Havening is something that it's just a method of stroking, basically, that creates delta waves in your brain, which is what you need to move from your sympathetic to your parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're feeling any kind of stress, trying to calm down, can't sleep, I'm going to share 3 of these methods, the first one right now and 2 a little later. Very simple. And you don't have to worry if you're doing it wrong. You're going to take your hands and place them on your shoulders. Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, you're just going to slide the hands down your arms towards your elbows. Inhale, the hands come back to the shoulders. Exhale and stroke gently down your arms. Inhale, hands up. Exhale and slide them down. And one more. Inhale, hands up. Exhale and slide them down. So you can do that as many times as you choose, whenever you choose, wherever you choose, anytime you're feeling like you need to calm down a little bit. And now we'll move on. Keeping your legs in the position that they're in, you're going to take your fingertips and move them forward onto the floor. Now, if you're particularly tight in the hips and this isn't comfortable, grab a blanket, a block, a cushion, place your fingertips a little higher. We're trying to stretch the lower back, so you want to keep the spine nice and long. The shoulders still press down your back. You take a couple breaths here, observing what's going on in your body. If you're feeling a good stretch in those hips, then you stay here and you breathe. If you want to move forward, you start moving the fingers forward, but you're still trying to keep that spine nice and long. We're not rounding the spine yet. We'll get there. Continue to press the tailbone down into the floor. Lengthen. Feel the stretch in the hips, in the lower back. Pull the navel back and in. Maybe you can go a little further. You decide. You're listening to your body, letting it cue you when you need to stop and breathe. We're going to take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, let's go ahead and tuck the chin towards the chest. Now you can round the back a little bit, pressing the navel towards the spine. Deep breaths. Engaging that core as you pull yourself back up slowly. And then we're going to change the cross of the legs. If the legs are extended, just keep them in that position. Now you have the option placing the fingertips on the floor in front of you, or this time maybe you'll bring your hands behind you, interlacing the fingers. Still the shoulder blades are down the back. You'll try and press the arms back behind you a little bit, opening the chest. And you're going to lean forward again, paying attention once more to the hips. How do they feel? Can I go forward a little more? Keeping the spine long. Take a nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, now you're going to round the back. You can leave the arms down or try to reach them up towards the ceiling. Make sure that core is engaged. And breathe. Your next inhale, you're going to bring yourself back up slowly, slowly, slowly. And release the arms. Let's go ahead and extend the legs out. And let's remove any cushion you might have underneath you. Still trying to keep the spine nice and long. Separate the feet slightly. We're going to do a little row the boat. So you're going to reach forward like you've got your hands on a pair of oars, and you're going to pull those oars back, drawing the arms towards the chest, leaning back slightly, deeper if you have that core strength. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, pull back. And last one, inhale, pull forward. Exhale, and back. And come on upright again. Fingertips on the floor. Let's separate the feet. And we'll do a little seated windshield wiper, trying to keep the spine nice and long. You're going to take the knees over towards the right, and then back to center. And take the knees to the left, back to center, and over to the right again, and back to center, and over to the left, and to center. Now let's keep the right knee pointed straight up. Let's see if you can move the left knee towards the floor. Now this can create a little torque in the knee, so if you have issues with your knees, make this a small movement, or sit it out, and breathe. Let's bring that knee back up, and we're going to take the right knee down and to the inside. And bring that knee back up. And go ahead and extend your legs once again. So we've loosened the hips up just a little bit. We're going to practice a little Pawan Muktasana, which in Sanskrit means wind release, but we use it here to open up the energy lines that go from the toes all the way up to the hips, trying to focus a little bit on the hips today. We're going to start with just the toe, so it's a progressive move with up the leg. And you're just going to squeeze the toes without moving the feet. And then pull the toes back, open them up, try to see light between the toes. And then squeeze those toes and pull them back and open up. And one more squeeze and pull them back and open up. Now we add the foot. Let's go ahead and point the toes and pull them back, flexing. Point and flex. And another one. Point and flex. Now take them in a slow, big circle around. And another circle. And another circle. Let's go the opposite direction. Big circles. 1, 2, and 3. And the feet are separated enough now so that you can turn the toes towards each other on the inside. And then open them to the outside. Turn them in and open. And one more. Turn them in and open. And bring them back to center. You're going to place your hands underneath your right knee and draw that knee up towards your chest. A little leg extension. Being careful not to slouch, not to round the back. We want to use the core, keep the spine nice and long. We're just going to stretch that leg out nice and long and then pull it back up into your chest. And stretch it out and pull it to your chest. And one more, stretch it out and pull it to your chest. Now let's hold here. We're going to do some big circles. It's called cranking. So as you inhale, you're going to take your foot over towards the left. Try and bring it up as best you can. Circle it around. Exhale, around. And to the left again. Inhaling up. Exhale down. And one more. Inhale to the left and up. Exhale. And the opposite direction to the right. Inhale up and circle around. And to the right. Inhale up. Circle around. One more. Inhale to the right. Up. And exhale. Circle around. Now you're going to place your leg in a half butterfly position. Depending upon flexibility in your hip and how your knee feels, you may want to put this foot out a little further. If you're feeling a little more open, you can draw the foot up and in. And you're going to place your hand on your knee. So if you're open and your knee is already on the floor, you may want to put your foot up on your other thigh. That's going to give you a little more room to create this stretch. Placing your hand on your knee, take a deep inhale. As you exhale, you press down with your hand, but you push back up with your knee. Inhale, release. Exhale, press down as you push up with the knee. Inhale, release. And one more. Exhale, press down. And inhale, release. Last one on this side. You're going to put your hands around your foot and lift that foot up a little closer in front of your chest. So again, any issues in the hip, you may want to take the foot a little further away from your body. If you're a little more open, draw it in. And if you're very open, you can create this cradle for your baby. Sitting up nice and tall, again, making sure you're not rounding back. We're just going to move that knee over to the right and then take it across. Inhale as you open. Exhale across. And one more. Inhale, open. Exhale across. And now you can stretch that leg out. Other side. Left leg grabbing behind the knee, pulling the knee towards your chest. Straight spine. Inhale as you extend that leg. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, extend. Exhale, in. And one more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, in. Keeping the knee here. We're going to inhale and take the foot to the right and circle up. Exhale, down. Inhale, circle. Exhale, down. One more this side. Inhale, up. Exhale, and to the left. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. One more. Inhale, up. And exhale, down. Now take this leg and place it in that half butterfly position. You might notice a difference. I definitely do in the sides. This one, my knee, I have a little issue here, so it doesn't want to go down quite as far. You still, if the knee is all the way to the floor, you can put the foot up on the other thigh for a little more intense stretch. Otherwise, leave it on the floor, hand on your knee, nice deep inhale. As you exhale, you press down on the knee as you push back up with that knee. And release, inhaling. Exhale, press down as you push up. Inhale, release. And one more. Exhale, press down as you push up. And inhale, release. Now pick that foot up. Just test to see where you need to be. The foot can be extended out a little bit, or you can try pulling it back in for a little deeper stretch. And the final option is cradling the baby. Nice stretch for the hips, nice opener. Where regardless of what position you've taken, as you inhale, you're going to take the knee out to the side and exhale across. Inhale out to the left. Exhale. And one more. Inhale to the left. And exhale. And go ahead and stretch the legs out. Let's shake them out. Just take your feet to the side. We're going to come around onto hands and knees. So depending on the surface you're practicing on, you might decide to grab a blanket. Put it under your knees for a little cushioning. Just a little cat-cow with the hands right underneath the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Inhaling in your neutral position. And as you exhale, you're going to arch the back into your cat pose. Inhale. Reversing that curve, cow pose. Exhale, arching the back. Inhale. Imagine a stretch from your tailbone all the way up to your breastbone as you open the front body. And one more. Exhale, a nice big arch. And inhale to your cow pose. And come back to a neutral position. We're going to do a few hydrants, a couple of different options. Let's just make sure your hands are pressing into the floor firmly. Maybe turn your inner elbows so they point forward. That sets the shoulders, gives you a strong base. As you inhale, you're going to lift that right knee up and out to the side. And then squeeze those inner thighs together as you exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze closed. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze closed. You can continue with the simple lift and squeeze closed, or you can inhale the leg up. Exhale, stretch it to the side. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, squeeze, closed. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, squeeze, closed. Let's press back into a child's pose for just a moment. Nice little stretch for the back, for the hips. And then bring yourself back up once again into your 4-point position, preparing to do hydrants on the other side. Nice deep inhale as you lift that left knee up. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. One more of these. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. All right, continue with that or add on. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, squeeze. Last one. Inhale, up. Exhale, out. Inhale, back in. Exhale, and squeeze. And let's go back to child's pose once more. Few breaths here. And begin our transition towards standing. So if you know that downward dog is not a good position for you, then I would suggest that you come up onto your knees, hips over the knees, and stretch the arms out in front of you, pressing the chest down towards the floor. Nice modification for a downward dog if you have any hand, arm, shoulder issues. If you want to go to full downward dog from your child's pose, you're going to shift your weight forward, tuck the toes under, and take the hips up towards the ceiling. Pressing the fingers into the floor, stretching the arms, feeling the armpits hollow out, and then stretch from the armpits back to the tailbone that lifts up towards the ceiling, And then gently, gently press the heels down towards the floor. Breathe. And then we're going to walk our feet and our hands towards each other. So we come into a forward bend. If you're in your modified downward dog, find your way onto your feet and into this forward bend. If you find a deep forward bend is a little too much for you at this point, then it's good to use a block, a cushion, something to give you a little more space to reach the floor. A few breaths here. Pulling the navel up and in, slight bend in the knees. Let the head hang. And breathe. So you're going to press those feet into the floor there, your base. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, you're going to roll yourself up. Slowly, slowly, slowly. All the way up. Okay, this next one is first of our two balancing poses for this morning or today, whenever you're checking in. And it can be a little intense on the hamstrings and on the IT band. So if you'd like to have a chair to use or go to a wall, you can certainly do that. We're going to take the right foot and we're going to cross it over on the other side of your left foot. This requires some core strength and some balance. So a chair, a wall next to you might be helpful. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, tuck the chin, round the shoulders. Feel that core engage as you slowly, slowly, slowly move forward. So if you get to a point where you go, I just can't get down there, that's where the chair would help. That's where a block would help. And you might stop here halfway. If you can continue on forward, then move forward and let your head hang. Breathe. Take a deep inhale, pulling into your core and pressing your feet into the floor. Slowly bring yourself all the way back up. And we're going to unwind. And we do the other side. Remember that each side's a little different, so have that support with the chair or the wall. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, tuck the chin, round the shoulders, core engaged. As you start reaching for the floor, using whatever prop you might need, a block, a cushion, a chair. And see if you can bring yourself over. Nice deep breaths. Let's inhale deeply, pressing the feet into the floor, pulling into your core. As you exhale, you're going to bring yourself up slowly, slowly, slowly. And unwind. Okay, second option for our balancing. If you are on a fairly thick surface, maybe you want to step off onto bare floor or have a wall or a chair handy if you're not quite sure about your balance. First thing we're going to do is just bring the right foot out in front of us, big toes on the floor. You can feel already a little need to balance. And if you want to make it very simple for yourself today, then you just try to bring that toe up off the floor and hold here. If you want to take it a step further, toe back on the floor. We're going to put our thumb over our ring and middle finger. And we're going to bring our hands up, kind of like we're playing the flute. We're going to take that right foot and we're going to draw it on the other side of the left. You might have the big toe on the floor. If you're feeling pretty steady, maybe you lift that foot up. And breathe. Down and bring the hands down. Let's keep the thumb on the fingers. We're going to go to the other side. Stretching that left foot out in front of you. Maybe you just stay here with the toe on the floor, or you just lift the foot up. If you want to cross, you might put the big toe on the floor for a little stability, or lift it up. Okay, if you're a little shaky, just try to keep your balance. And let's release. Let's just take a nice deep inhale, arms up. And exhale and let that go. Doesn't matter how you did with your balancing. The thing is to practice, 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 and you'll get better at it. So from here, we're going to extend the legs out a little wider. I want the feet parallel to start with. We're going to bring the hands behind you on your lower back. Take a nice deep inhale. You might opt to lean back a little bit, feeling the extension from the tailbone all the way up out through the top of your head. And then as you exhale, come on over. If you find leaving the hands on your back doesn't give you enough support, put them on your thighs and come forward into a little forward bend. You have an option here again using the edge of that chair to support you if your forward bend isn't quite as deep as you would like it yet. Nice deep inhale, hands either on your thighs or on your lower back. And as you exhale, press the feet into the floor, bring yourself back up. Release the hands. We're going to turn the toes out just a little bit. Bring the arms up into a star position. Let's make sure that the inner thighs are rotating forward so the knees can align with the toes. And as you exhale, you're going to dip down, maybe just a little bit, maybe deeper if your hips are open. Good inner thigh, inner hip stretch. And inhale, reach up. Exhale, dip. Inhale, reach up. One more, exhale, dip. Inhale, reach up. And now we get to go down and we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach up. Let's bring the feet parallel, maybe turning the toes in just a little bit. Hands back to your lower back. Nice deep inhale. Another little extension towards the back. Exhale, folding forward. And slide the hands down towards the floor, towards your cushion, towards your block, whatever you need to use. Just let the head hang. Now we're going to press our hands into the floor or place our hands on that block or cushion right underneath the shoulders. Let's turn the toes out just slightly. We're going to do a little half squat side to side. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, make sure that knee is pressing towards the toes, stretching that left leg out. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Make sure the knee points towards the toes. Inhale, center. Exhale, let's go to the right again. Inhale, center. And exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. We're going to hold here. You can stay right here, or you can play around with it if you have more open hips and you want to go a little deeper into this pose. Take your hips down. Turn the left toes towards the ceiling. This is a very intense stretch, so don't try it if you know you have issues with opening in the hips or the knees. And we're going to push back up to center. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, we go over towards the left this time. So again, you can stay right here. This is a good stretch. Or you can experiment with going a little deeper. Inhaling on the exhale. Press yourself back up to center. Lift up, lengthening the spine. And exhale, fold in half. And bring the hands to your thighs or to your lower back. Nice deep inhale. On the exhale, come up with a nice flat back, pressing the feet into the floor all the way up. Maybe do a little heel to toe to get the feet a little closer together. But we're still going to leave them separated slightly with the toes turned out. We're going to do a little camper's pose, a version of a squat. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to lean forward. Just take your forearms to your thighs. Slight bend in the knees. So you have support here. If this feels good, just stay right here. If you want to go further, you take a deep inhale and you bend the knees towards your toes. Bring the hips down, lift the chest. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, knees go out towards the toes. And exhale, fold in half. And last one, inhale. Let's stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you choose and you want to go a little deeper into a full squat, take your hands to the floor. This requires some flexibility in the ankles, in the knees. So if it's too much, stay in that camper's pose with support on your legs. Now we're going to bring the elbows back to our thighs, shoulder blades down, and press forward. Release the arms, inhaling. Exhale, roll yourself back, up. Bring the feet together. Step forward a little bit on your mat. You're going to take a nice deep inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold in half. Let's inhale, fingertips on the floor or on your shins, and bring the torso up, spine nice and long. Exhale, fold in half. Hands on the floor, you're going to step back. Just briefly into a downward dog. Then bring your knees down. And take your hips to one side. We come to a seated position. A little Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. Lots of forward bends today, working around the hips. We're going to bring the arms up and pull the navel back towards your spine as you lean forward. Got to rehook myself here. There we go. So let's keep the arms up in line with the ears. If you find this is too much for the hamstrings, you can bend the knees a little bit. Or press those, if you have more flexibility, press the backs of the legs into the floor, lengthening that spine. And then you can bring the hands down wherever they end up. Might be on your shins or ankles, might be on your feet. We're going to lift just a little bit, lengthen that spine one more time. And on the exhale, see if you can go a little deeper. breathing. And then inhale and come back up. And we're going to bend the knees. I'm going to turn to the side. We're going to go into a little figure 4, a couple of things on our backs to help open the hips. But we're going to use a little sinking boat to get there. So we're going to stretch the arms out. You can put the hands behind the legs if you're concerned at all about the strength in your abs. Lengthening the spine, inhaling. And on the exhale, round that back and slowly roll yourself all the way down. Okay. So, from here, we're going to bend both knees. The feet are on the floor. You're going to pick up the right foot, put the ankle just above the left knee. If you want more out of this posture, then you draw your left knee towards your chest and reach around, grab behind the left leg. Breathing. And then we're going to bring that leg down. Let's unwind that foot. Go to the other side. Left ankle goes just above the right knee. Each side's a little different. Maybe on this side you just want to press that knee away. See how deep you can get. Or take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, draw the right knee towards your chest. And we're going to bring that leg down. Bring the feet down. Let's just roll over onto one side. Press yourself up to a seated position. Before we go to Shavasana, we're going to do one more havening option. Yes. All right. So this one's also very simple, very easy to do anywhere you choose, anytime you're feeling a little stress, a little need to calm yourself. And we're going to use the breath as well. And it's basically just stroking the hands. So let's inhale and just like from the base of each palm, draw your hands to the fingertips. And then change sides. From the base of the palm, stroking across the palms. Inhale and exhale, a nice little stroke. Inhale, exhale, and let's do one more. Inhale, exhale, stroking. And the last one, inhale and exhale and stroke. So you add that to the one we did in the beginning where we stroked down the arms. You have that option. And now you have the second option with the hands. Both very simple, both very effective at moving you towards your parasympathetic system. Now let's go ahead and find our way down onto the floor for a little bit of Shavasana. You've helped a little with that havening to relax you. And of course, the time we've spent doing our yoga has also been relaxing you. But one last little option in our Shavasana. Relaxing the legs, relaxing the arms, palms face towards the ceiling. Maybe separating the hands from the body a little bit. This all just allows the shoulders to roll back, the chest to open up. And we're going to take a couple minutes in silence, breathing deeply. Remembering, as we started class, the hand on the tummy expanding. So if you'd prefer to put one hand on your tummy and feel the breath as it pushes your hand up on the inhale, And on the exhale, you feel your hand descend into your body. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe twist the wrists and the ankles. And let's bring the arms up overhead, reaching through the fingertips, through the toes. Feel that little arch in your lumbar curve. Bring the hands down, one at a time. Bring the knees towards your chest. You might rock a little from side to side, giving the lower back just a little massage. And then roll to your right side. Press yourself up. Coming once again to a comfortable seated position. And before we finish, we'll do the last instruction for havening, your third option. It can be a little bit controversial because it's stroking your face. So during this time, you're not supposed to be touching your face. That's why I brought this washcloth, so I can wash my hands before I show it to you. You may opt to practice this later if you've had a chance to wash your hands. All right. Same stroking motion, only this is on your face, and you're creating kind of a heart-shaped movement. So the hands come up on the forehead, and you make that little heart-shaped move around and down to your jawline. And again, let's inhale as we pull up and exhale. And one more. Inhale over the forehead, down the cheeks, and to the jaw. Let's go ahead and bring your hands to your heart center. Anjali Mudra, leaving a little space between the palms. Remembering the 3 havening options I gave you, very beneficial to any kind of stress that you're feeling, helping you asleep, using it anytime, anywhere, especially if you're not able to get to a yoga nidra class, quite beneficial. And we're going to use that space between our hands to draw our breath into our heart center, gathering in all of those positive feelings of joy, happiness, contentment. And as you exhale, send those same sentiments out to everybody around you. A couple more breaths on your own. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I hope you join me in the future to any other classes that are offered through Anna's online classwork. Namaste.